Hello, everybody. Welcome to Creating Cards with Debbie. I want to thank you for being here today if you're watching me on the replay. And this is going to be a recording, pre-recorded one that I'm going to put up because my video yesterday had terrible sound. So I wanted to redo it so that you get the benefit of everything so you can pay or can copy it. All right, so my name is Debbie Foster, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas, and we're going to get into our housekeeping notes here. So let me bring those all up. First off, we have Paper Pumpkin for the month of April. It says it's called Lakeside Retreat, and you got until April 10th to subscribe to this one. It says, show your appreciation for the men in your life with cards inspired by tranquil waterside scenes. It makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs with coordinating envelopes, pre-cut paper pieces, and enamel pebble embellishments. Stamp set tailored to male recipients. So we never have enough men cards. So this is a good kit. The Stampin' Spot that comes with it is going to be one of our new in colors, Peaceful Pine. And it coordinates with the Waterside Retreat Suite Collection, which is item number 167932. You might want to add that to your order next time. And let me bring my banner up here. If you want to shop with me, any of the items that I'm showing today or any paper crafting things that you might need to be getting, you can shop in my store, which is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It's www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. So I'm going to leave that run for a moment. And then along with the paper pumpkin kits, you can also add on the coordinating dies that go with it. And they are called Wonderful Scene dies. And the item number is 168665. Price is $13, and that's available while supplies last. These coordinate with the May through June paper pumpkin kits. So it covers 3 months worth of kits that you can use the dies for. All right. Let's remove that. We'll talk about Last Chance products. They just updated the Last Chance products list just a few days ago. So there's a lot of items in there that are discounted, and they won't be returning. So that's why it says Last Chance. It says available only while supplies last. And you can find that in my store. All right. And let me take this off of there. All right. And again, we have the product of the month, which is very pretty. It's a die this time. So the April product of the month, you get this exclusive product for only $5 when you spend $75 or more in a single order. So you can add that onto your order if it's $75 or more, and it'll only cost you $5 for it. It's very pretty. It says bring soft stitch texture to any card. And then craft sweet lace-like layer in seconds. So it's kind of a lacy looking die. And I'm waiting for mine to come. I did my pre-order and I got that in there, so I'm anxious to see it. And I know we won't have any comments today, so I don't have to watch those. All right. So I think I've gone through all the housekeeping notes. Oh, another thing is get your starter kit, which you can get a starter kit of Stampin' Up! For $99, free shipping, and you pick out $125 worth of products. So you get an added $26 free. So that's a bargain. And you can reach me at that website that I'm showing at the bottom of the screen right now. Would love to have you on my team. Okay, so let's take that back off. It's also in the description of the video too, in case you miss it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I've got 3 fun fold cards today. And did I tell you today is April 3rd, 2026? It's a Friday instead of a Thursday because I'm doing a redo on the video from yesterday. All right, let's switch our cameras around and we'll get started. Hopefully I don't have any issues today like I did the other day. I think, no, I can't check my sound. I was going to say I was going to bring up my iPad and check my sound, but I can't on a recording. So we're just going to wing it and hopefully wish for the best here. All right. Kind of messed up here. All right, our first card is going to be using the Cutest Crew. Let me find the stamp set. And that comes as a bundle. You can get it as a bundle. The Cutest Crew is a stamp set and the dies. All right, I'm going to take the dies out that I need. I need a couple out of here that I didn't do anything ahead of time. So these two. And also the one that's going to cut out the dogs. And where did I put it? Oh, it came out in the package. So where's my die at? It was hiding. All right. Get our bits and pieces out here. All right, so here's our card, our fun fold. You can see that it's the front flap is a little shorter, an inch shorter. So it says just a little hello and have the best day on the inside, along with some paw prints. Okay, I'm trying to set that somewhere where I can see it. All right, we're going to start out with our card base, which is our pecan pie. Yeah. That measures 4 1/4 inches by 9 1/2 inches, and then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2. I'm going to take my bone folder and burnish that fold line. And then I have, this is the front layer, basic white, which is 4 1/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And that's going to go right onto our card right there. But I'm going to do my stamping on it first so I don't mess up. And get my stamps over here. And all right, what am I missing? I guess I forgot one stamp in there. Had the best day. Which is right here. All right, now we're getting situated and settled in here. I'm going to grab a block. All right. Okay, I'm going to stamp just a little hello. And I didn't grab that one out either. I thought I was prepared here. Acrylic block for that. And we're going to use pecan pie as our ink pad today. To stamp the just a little hello. I'm going to do that at the top right corner. And we'll close that up for now. I'm going to grab the black memento ink and I'm going to stamp our doggies. I'm going to set that aside for now. And I've got a scrap of basic white here we're going to use. There is a stamp for cats too, but I'm using the dog one today. And we're going to color those with our Stampin' Blends. And I've got an assortment here of different colors. I've got Granny Apple Green, Pecan Pie, Crumb Cake, Darling Duckling, and Crumb Cake. Okay, I got Crumb Cake. This one is Gray Granite. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start coloring. This up here where you can see. All right, I'm going to start out with our Pecan Pie, the first dog. And I'm going to start with the light Pecan Pie. I'm going to do his ears and his tail with a dark Pecan Pie. All right, and his little tail. I think I'm going to color the outside dog the same color. So let me bring that light Pecan Pie back over here. Right. And then next we're going to do the gray granite. And I'm going to start again with the light. I want to make sure I don't color his bandana. We're going to do the bandana a different color. Have to blend a little bit. And I'm not using the dark. Put that away. And our other dog is going to be Crumb Cake. Yeah, Crumb Cake. And I'm going to do his ears with the dark. So I'll start out with that. Some shadowing here. Now the light Crumb Cake. Okay, coloring is kind of relaxing. I'm kind of enjoying this. All right, the Crumb Cake's finished. And now we're going to do the bandanas using the light Darling Duckling. And I'll do the flowers with the dark Darling Duckling. All right, got that. And I'm going to use the Light Poppy Parade for the tongue and his little tags. Oops, I forgot part of a bandana right there. Okay, got everything there. Let me grab that yellow back again. Forgot a little corner of his bandana there. All right, then we'll do the flowers with the dark Darling Duckling. And one more here. All right. And then we're going to use our light granny apple green. I'll color the leaves and the stems of the flowers. All right, we got that. Now we can bring our machine over here. We're going to die cut these out. So I've got my mini Stampin' Emboss machine, or Miss Squeaky, because she's still squeaking. And my plates. I'm going to tear that excess paper off of there. And here's our die. I'm going to, let me scooch up here so you can see. I'm going to lay my die on top of my dogs. And then we'll run it through the machine. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not cutting any part of them off that I don't want to. And I'm going to use my little piece of tearing tape there, or washi tape, I should say. Okay, got the dogs cut out. And then next I want to die cut the paw prints and the other die out. I'm using a little strip of pecan pie cardstock. And I'll get both of them off of those with the same piece of paper. And try to get them straight on here. And I think I'm going to hold that in place with the tape too. Where did I put that? Right here. Just to hold them in place so they don't shift on me. And my top plate. All right. All right, we're being stubborn. I guess I got it in there wrong. See, we're still squeaking. We'll call her Miss Squeaky. Okay, I think that's all I got to die cut with this one. And I'm going to save those little pieces, those hearts. Get rid of my trash here. So I'm going to save the hearts. We're going to be using those. All right. There. I'm going to bring my pokey tool over here. Take your pick tool. And I'm just going to persuade those little pieces to pop out of there. Okay, so here's the dog print one. Aren't they cute? And that's going to go across our bottom. And this other one is going to go just above that. Let me get all the hangouts out of here. And go like this. Bring our glue over here. Start attaching these. I want to remind everybody too that our in colors are going to be going out, and the colors are Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, and Petunia Pop are our retiring colors this year. So if you have those, you might want to make sure you've got your ink refills, because once they're gone, they're gone. You want to be able to still keep using them after the new catalog comes out, which will be in May. All right. Okay, I'm going to trim off those edges. We've got a little bit longer than what we need. And we'll bring our card back over here. We'll put that onto our card front. It goes on that front flap. And it's just going to have a tiny edge going all around it. Like so. All right, now we're going to put our dogs up on dimensionals. And I've got a sheet here that's just got the edge of it, so I'm going to use those. Now I want to put plenty on here so it doesn't sink in the middle. I'm almost used up that sheet. Got one. And get those backings off. I find these backs of the dimensionals all over the house. They kind of hang on to you sometimes. All right, and we're going to place that down above our die cut there. And let me take that subscribe button off of there, get it out of the way. All right. Okay. And let's go ahead and work on the inside. The inside has a designer series paper that comes from the Lovely Blossoms. It's doing it again. Okay, I'm back. All right, hoping you caught everything. Okay, this is our designer series paper. It comes from the Lovely Blossoms, and I'm using this pattern right here. And that measures 2 inches by 4 1/8 inches. It's going to go along this bottom side. I'm going to open that and we'll attach that to the inside. All right, and then I have another basic white, which measures 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. It's going to go on top of there, but I'm going to do my stamping first. In case I mess it up, I can turn it over. It says, "Have a blessed day." We'll bring our round pie back over here. And I'm going to stamp that to upper left-hand corner. And we'll put some paw prints at the bottom. And that's why I wasn't going live today. I was doing a recording, but it's doing the same thing as it did yesterday. I keep losing the camera. So I don't know what's going on. All right, and this is going to go on the inside. Butt it right up against that designer series paper. Have the best day. All right, we're going to finish the front side. I'm going to add my little hearts to that. So I'm just going to put a few drops of glue on here, and then I'll pick up the hearts with my take your pick tool. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll start with those for now. Might add more. I'm going to use the putty end of my take your pick tool to pick those hearts up. Oops, stay there. And one more up here in the corner. All right. I'm going to put some down here too. I got 2 left over. I got 3 left over, but we're going to do odd numbers. So 7. Got 5 on top, and then 2 more at the bottom. There. There. And one right there. Okay, so here's our finished card. Just a little hello. And then you open it, and on the inside, have the best day. So your card looks like this. All right, let's clean up our mess here, and we'll get started with our next one. I'll have to clean those off later. All right, next we have which one I want to do first. I'm going to do this one and save our embossing one for later. right. So here's card number 2. It's another fun fold. Just because, and it opens like this, and it's your birthday on the inside. So you can see. All right, and we're going to start out with our card base, which measures 4 1/4 by 11, and it's scored in the middle at 5.5 inches. But we're going to cut some of this off of the front flap. So let me bring my paper trimmer over here. I'm going to cut off 1 inch. Cut off 2 3/4 inches. 2 3/4. There. So we've shortened it. And save that cut off part because that's going to be your flap. And bring my bone folder over here to varnish this edge. And it's going to go landscape. All right, we're going to sit right there, but we're going to start adding our designer series paper first. And the paper that I'm using is Brush with Beauty. And I'm using this first one here, the front and the back. So we're going to start with that first. And I've got 2 of those cut out. These will go onto the flap. One there and one here. And they measure 2 5/8 inches by 4 1/8 inch. So we're going to go ahead and attach those now. And open that up and put that down. Leaving a small border going around it. So there's the front flap. And then we're going to add this other one to that cut off layer. All right. And then we're going to glue that down to our front flap. I'm not going to glue the whole thing. I'm just going to do this left side. So I'm going to hold my thumb there so I don't go past that. We don't want to glue it all down because it'll stick our card shut. So center that. And give it a press. All right, we'll set that aside for a moment. And we've got our designer series paper. I'm going to use the back side of that one. And this one measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And that'll go on the inside. So we'll go ahead and put that down. This paper is so pretty. Bring our card back over here. Place that down, leaving a small edge going around it. One good thing about the Tombow glue, you can reposition your paper if you got it off a little bit, so it'll slide. All right. And then next we've got our basic white. Is this big? No. Is this white? Yes. No, it's very vanilla. My eyes weren't working. And this one measures 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. And that's going to go on the inside. But I'm going to stamp that first in case I mess up. I can turn it over. And it's going to say, "It's your birthday." And so I use my black memento ink. And we'll stamp that at the upper left-hand corner. And then I thought I had a strip of paper, but I don't. Okay, this is going to go on the inside of our card. And how I do that is I open my card and I'll lay this down on top of that flap where I want it to be. And then I'll add my glue. And again, I'm going to make sure that's straight. We're just going to fold this side over on top of it. Okay. So see, it's all covered by the flap that way. It's your birthday. And we're going to finish decorating the front of our card. And I am using the Just Because, or the Words of Beauty and the dies. And I've already die cut our pecan pie using the outline of the Just word. And then I cut out the word itself, the detailed word, out of Berry Vanilla cardstock. Trying to get the tape off of me. And we're going to add that to that and get rid of that hang on there. And I've already put adhesive on the back of this. So I don't have to worry about getting into those small, narrow places with my glue. So that helps out a lot. Come on, pull off of there. There we go. And I'm leaving the dot for the Just in the die. So I'm going to come back and get that when I'm done putting this down. And line that up. And then we'll bring our die back over here, and I'm going to lay that down onto it. And then I can just push out that little dot and stick it on there. All right, let me pop out this centerpiece here. All right, and that's going to go on 2 dimensionals, and I'm going to use the mini dimensionals this time. So we will bring those over. Oh, do I have any left? Yeah, I do. I take your pick tool, it's right here. Grab some of those. And I think one more will do it. Take those backings off. And we're going to attach that to our, well, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We're going to set that aside for a moment. We need to stamp our sentiment onto our die cut here. And that comes from the dies that go along with the words of beauty. I'm using this one right here. And I'm going to stamp because on there. And I'm using black memento. And because all right, after we closed it, and then with that, do I have ink on my fingers? Yes, I do. Got a little smudge there, but I can probably hide that with a gem. It never fails. And this is going to glue directly down to our card front. And I want to put it towards the bottom area, towards the right. And now we can add our just on top of that. Just because. And then I've die cut some leaves that I've got from the Forever Florals. I use this die right here. I've got 2 of those cut out from Mossy Meadow. And we're going to position those. I wanted to put my string in there first. Where did I put my line at? My linen thread. I made a large bow with a linen thread, a double bow. And we're going to use that. And I wanted to put it underneath the J here. Let me see if I can squeeze it in there. Maybe do that. Is that going to hide there? Yeah. And we'll situate that. It's kind of a messed up bow here. Okay. All right, and this leaf we're going to stick under that corner. I'm going to put a little glue on it just to hold it in place. I don't have to do the whole thing. Just a few drops on it at the bottom. And I'm going to place that right there. And the other one, well, I don't know where I want to put that one. Does that look right? I think I'll put it right here. Let me slip that up underneath that T. And I'll trim off my tails of my ribbon here. It's the one. And then we want to add some gems. I'm going to use, these are the Moody Palette Glossy Dots. And I'm going to use the Old Olive color. I'm going to grab a large one, place up here, and a small one right there. And then another small one can go onto my smudge there for my ink. All right, so here's card number 2. Just because it's your birthday. All right, Clean up a little bit here, and we'll go on to our final card. There's another fun fold. And this one I'm using the scalloped wishes dies and stamp set. We're going to do some heat embossing on this one. Bits out here. Okay, so here's our third card for you. It's another fun fold. This is a book fold, I think is what it's called. And I didn't put anything on the inside because I might decide what I want to use it for later, so I just left it blank. But I did stamp the "For You" on the front. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We're going to start out with our thick weight. And it measures 4 1/4 by 11. And I've scored it at 5 1/2 and 4 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish those fold lines. And I'll fold this one back on itself. Burnish that. That's going to be our book spline. All right. And then next we have Lost Lagoon as our mat. And that is 4 1/8 by 4 3/8. That's going to go onto our left side here. I turn it right. And then I have another one, Lost Lagoon, which is 7/8 by 4 1/8. That's going to go onto that side. And then I've got our designer series paper, which comes from the beautiful Gallery 6x6 designer series paper. And I'm using this side. That's on the back side. And that measures 4 1/4 by 4. It's going to go onto that one. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that. All right, I've got a small edge going around it. And do this one. The designer series paper is, let me grab my ruler because I've got some that look the same. 3/4 inch. No, that's for the other. Well, they're all 3/4 inch. Let me see. 4. Yeah. 3/4 inch by 4. And add our glue. I was going to go live today, but I've had some stomach issues since last night, so I thought it was best if I did a recording instead. All right, and this line goes on to this side. And this one goes on the other side. All right, we'll put that down onto our card front. See, I've got the contrasting one on that side, so it's not all the same. All right, and we're going to set that aside. Well, I've got some strips here. I'm going to go ahead and put those down, and then we'll do our embossing. I've got 2 strips of designer series paper that are 1/2 inch by 4 1/4 inch. Is that 4 1/4 or is that 4? Yeah, 4 1/4. And then the middle one is going to be 3/4 inch by 4 1/4. And we're going to put those across here. Can I tell if that's upside down? I guess there's no directional. And it's going to go right across that center. Line that up, edge to edge. And the smaller ones are going to go at the top and at the bottom. Leave a small space in between. And the next one goes at the bottom, leaving the same distance. All right, so far. All right, and then I have die cut another piece of that same backing of the paper. And I used my dies out here so I can show you what I used. I used the large oval. And then for the next one, we're going to do some heat embossing first. Give me a moment here to get set up with that. I've got my heat gun, my embossing stuff. And I'm going to take my Simply Chamois, and I'm going to get rid of any static cling that might be on there. Bring my Versamark ink over here. And this is the stamp that we're going to be using, our lacy border. And we'll ink that up with our Versamark ink. Make sure we've got plenty on there. I'd rather have too much than not enough. And then we're going to try to line that up on top of that die cut. And press, press, press. And then we're going to use our tray here, and we're going to add embossing powder, white embossing powder. It's getting warm in here. And I want to make sure I got plenty on there, so I'm just going to dump it all on there. We'll pick it up later. And I gotta be careful picking it up because it's stamped right at the edges. So I don't want to mess it up at all. So I'm going to grab it from the sides. And I think I got it good. We'll bring our heat gun over here. I'm just debating if I want to lay this down directly onto there. I guess so. Let's get our gun heated up. hold it down with my bone folder. It doesn't move on me. And let the magic begin. Heat embossing just fascinates me. It never gets old. And let's see. Like it did good. There, it kind of picks up, the camera does a little bit. Okay. And we're going to place this up on dimensionals. So let's bring those dimensionals back over here. And we're going to use up our back side here of this. And grab a couple others. I don't want it sinking in the middle, so I'd rather have more than not enough. All right. Now that's going to go onto our card front. All right, that's ready to go. And we're going to place that down onto our card front, centered. Kind of hard to tell if it's centered or not. I think that is. All right, and then I die cut our Lost Lagoon, and I used our stickers on the back. And let me grab those off of that. And get these pieces out that are hung up in there. Take your pick tool. Just use my fingers to pull them off. Now I've got them all over my fingers. All right, and this is going to go on top of that. I'm going to line up those little dots that go in the center of those little loops. Paper stuck to my fingers. And then next we have the center of that. And I'm going to clean that out. Well, come on. Got some being stubborn there. One more. Well, maybe two more. Doesn't want to let go. All right. I think I got them all out of there. And this is going to go in the center of that other one, the larger one. Well, you sure are sticking to my fingers good. All right, and then we have the inner circle that I cut out a basic white to get the white circle for stamping on. And we're going to stamp for you, and also that cottontail, what are they called? Cottontails, I think is what we used to call them. And we're going to stamp that using our Lost Lagoon ink pad. So ink that up. And then I'm going to tap it off once. And do second generation. Just a faint look. And then we'll use our basic black to cut out or to stamp the For You. And I'm going to put that along the lower edge. For You. And we can attach that to the center. It fits right in there. Perfect. All right, we're going to set that aside and we're going to stamp some dragonflies. And I thought I had one here. Is it hiding? I don't see it now. All right, we need 3 dragonflies. I don't want black, I want the Lost Lagoon. So let me grab my chamois and clean that off real quick. I almost messed up. Close up that black ink, we don't want that now. And grab the Lost Lagoon. So we need 3 of them. And then we're going to bring our cut and emboss machine back over here. We're going to die cut these. Clean off my blades. I got the compound stuck to them. And our die is right here. And I'm going to use my washi tape to hold them in place so they don't move on me. So I have to do this 3 times to cut those all out. And there's one. There's the second dragonfly. And out our last one. We're done with that now. Put that away. And our third dragonfly. And we're going to attach those to our spline over here. And I never glued that down. I need to glue that down first. Just open that. We're going to put glue right in this area. And just shut that. Give it a good rub. And now we can add our dragonflies. I'm going to have two going the same direction, and then the middle one going the opposite direction. And then our middle one. Right there. And I made a double bow from our white baker's twine. That's going to go right here with a glue dot. All right. Tap on our glue here, get that out of the way. Put my dies out later. And then we want to add gems, which I'm using the same ones, the Moody Palette Glossy Dots. And I'm going to use the white ones this time. I take your pick tool to grab those off. I'm going to start with a large one over here, a small one next to that, and then another large one we'll put down in this corner. I need to clean up my mess here a little bit so I can show all the cards. And let me take that off there. And I didn't put anything on the inside yet. We're going to leave that to whatever I need it for. We'll put the cinnamon in there to match what our need is. Come on. I lost my camera again. All right, now I'm back. Like I said, I'm going to show the cards that we made here. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. What is going on? All right, let's do this fast. Here's the 3 cards we've done today. We got the dog one with the prince inside. The just because it's your birthday, and for you, our book fold card. So I hope you enjoyed these cards today. Be sure you like and share the video. And like I said, if you're watching me on YouTube, be sure you hit that subscribe button and share it. And so like it, all those good things. It gives me better ratings. So until next Thursday, y'all have a good rest of your week. Happy Easter, which is Sunday. And I will be back April 12th. Same time, same channels. So bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching. Bye.